put on the grand red wedding dress for the second time. The man she was remarrying was the third young master of the Jun family, the number one powerful noble of Cloud Nation. 4 years ago, the third young master was tragically injured in a car accident, his appearance ruined, and has remained comatose until now. Doctors declared that he would not survive this winter. Now, it is early autumn. Madame June, overwhelmed with grief, decided to arrange a marriage for him before his passing, leaving no regrets. This marriage was not originally meant for Wind Ling Yan. The June family's intended bride was her cousin Win Ju Ra. However, her uncle's family threatened her sister's life, forcing her to agree to this marriage by proxy. Compared to the astronomical dowry offered by the June family, the bridal procession was extremely simple. 3 black Rolls Royces, including the drivers, no more than 5 people. Wind Ling Yan didn't mind. After all, this wasn't her first marriage. Moreover, her former husband had died in an accident. People of Ancheng privately mocked her as the widow's peak. Now, her reputation as a husband killer would likely be further cemented. 2 hours later, the Rolls Royces entered the ancient Jun family mansion located in Jingshan. The drowsy Wind Ling Yan took 2 deep breaths and glanced outside. Befitting the number one noble, the gray tiled mansion built against the mountain was imposingly majestic, with impeccable feng shui backing and fronting. Owning such a superior property, the Jun family's power grew increasingly formidable. Only their lineage lacked prosperity. The current Jun family patriarch, Jun Xiu Jin, had only one younger sister. The next generation, the third young masters, had only 2 sons and 1 daughter. Car stopped, and the bridal attendant led Wind Ling Yan to the second floor of the west wing. No music, no ceremony. Wind Ling Yan tightened her grip, gathering her thoughts for a moment. She pushed open the doors to the bridal chamber. Surrounded by red, she felt suffocated rather than joyous. She quickly strode over and opened the window. The fresh air provided instant relief to her breathing. Turning around, her gaze fell upon the crimson bridal bed. The man's chiseled features exuded an innate aristocratic aura, his countenance serene, as if merely asleep, yet his pallid lips and the horrific scar trailing from his neck to ear proved he had once hovered between life and death. Wind Ling Yan froze briefly. So this was Jun Mo Xiang, the rumored ruthless, cold-blooded third young master, who commanded the powerful Jun family. For some reason, looking at him stirred a sense of familiarity. This marriage served ulterior motives, devoid of love. What must be said, even if the other party was an unresponsive vegetative state. She sat on the bedside. Third young master, I'm Wind Ling Yan, your newly wedded wife, 24 years old this year, previously married once. With my status, I'm unworthy of you. The original bride was my cousin Win Ju Ra. Since she refused, they kidnapped my sister. However, rest assured, from now on, I will accompany you every day. Drip. Her phone rang. Someone sent her a photo of her sister. Since the Jun family proposed the marriage, she had not seen her sister. Wind Ling Yan's pretty face tightened as she rose and walked to the window. Soon, the other party called.
Sister, let me remind you again. Remember your position now. How will your affairs depends entirely on your behavior from now on.
Wind Ling Yan's pupils constricted, her eyes swirling with hatred. Wind Ju Ra, if you dare harm Yue again, I'll immediately tell Madame June about this marriage by proxy.
Sister, the Jun family, do you know who they are? If you really tell, we'll die, and Yue will die with us.
Fury raged as a tinge of red entered Wind Ling Yan's eyes. Wu, her sister's crying came through the phone. Wind Ling Yan wished she could slap the other party. Wind Ju Ra, don't go too far.
There's worse, sister. Do you know the last clause in the Jun family's marriage agreement? If the third young master unfortunately passes away, the Wen family woman will willingly join him in spirit marriage.
Those words struck like a thunderbolt. Spirit marriage. Wind Ling Yan felt entombed in ice, her limbs emanating bone-chilling cold that made her tremble. Her fingers tightened, tighter, whitening to the bone, nearly crushing the phone. Wind Ju Rua's cruel voice wavered.
Just this one clause earned their father's company an extra 10 billion investment from the gents. Sister, you better take good care of the third young master from now on. The longer he lives, the longer you get to live. Rest assured, we'll take good care of BYU for you.
Crash. The phone smashed heavily onto the floor. From now on, I absolutely cannot let them bully me like a fool anymore. Wind Ling Yan gripped the window frame tightly, fury searing her internal organs, a tinge of red in her eyes. Outside, the sun dipped below the horizon, the blazing dusk like a vibrant painting, yet to her eyes, boundless grayness. A moment later, she picked up the phone from the floor, approached the bed, gazed at the pallid chiseled face, lips curved slightly. Third young master, you heard everything just now. Marrying you, my life is yours, my death is yours. If you cannot awaken, then I shall accompany you in the underworld. Hey, how ridiculous. The man on the bed lay motionless, giving no response. Her strong facade shattered instantly. Bitterness welled up painfully in her chest. She clenched her fist tightly. For her to commit ritual suicide was simply absurd. Having entered the West Wing, she was the third young master's wife. To break this deadlock, she had to properly utilize this status to regain everything. Knock knock. Someone was at the door.
Yan turned to look. A scholarly young man carried a rosewood tray as he entered.
Madam, it's time for the third young master's medication.
Okay.
When Ling Yan hurriedly stood up, everything here was unfamiliar to her. Noticing her discomfort, the young man said,
Madam, I am Luo Pingchuan, the West Wing's head butler.
As he spoke, he placed the tray on the small round table beside the bed. Unexpectedly, despite appearing only around 30 years old, he was the West Wing's head butler. Truly, under a formidable leader, there were no weak subordinates. 4 years ago, at 24, Jun Huaxian was already a prominent young noble shaking the world. Not only the heir to the Jun family, he had built his own vast business empire. But the world is fickle. A bizarre car accident caused him to lose everything.
Hello, Manager Luo.
When Ling Yan neither fawned nor put on airs, her gaze resting lightly on the porcelain medicine bowl.
Madam, as instructed by the matriarch, you will be caring for the young master from today onwards.
Luo Pingchuan glanced at the steaming medicinal soup, adding,
This is a life-preserving tonic the young master takes daily and must be consumed by heart.
He emphasized the words life-preserving heavily. When Ling Yan understood, giving a slight nod.
Okay, I understand.
Luo Pingchuan turned to close the window and switched on the crystal chandelier.
Madam, call me anytime if you need anything.
Okay.
When Ling Yan pursed her lips, Luo Pingchuan exited, gently closing the bedroom door behind him. When Ling Yan sat her day by the bedside, carefully placing a towel under Jun Huaxian's jaw, before picking up the porcelain medicine bowl, she scooped up a spoonful, gently blowing on it. Although she had never cared for a vegetative patient before, her bedridden grandmother's years of care gave her some experience.
Third young master, time for your medicine.
When Ling Yan looked at Jun Huaxian, calling out warmly as a gentle light shone in her starry eyes.
This.
The medicinal soup in the porcelain spoon kept trickling from the corners of Jun Huaxian's chiseled lips down his neck. When Ling Yan hurriedly wiped it with a tissue, inwardly chilled.
He clearly cannot ingest food independently.
Pausing, she thought.
Manager Luo did not provide instructions, so it must have been manageable before.
She wanted to ask what happened, but worried the medicine would grow cold and lose efficacy. Regardless, the third young master could not afford any lapses now. Since she was already his wife, whatever she did would be natural. After an internal struggle, a faint blush crept up from behind her ears. She took a mouthful of the medicinal soup, gently parted Jun Huaxian's lips and leaned down close. Lip-to-lip contact, an electrifying shudder, when Ling Yan ignored her shyness, focused only on feeding him the medicine quickly. Forcefully pushing with her tongue tip, Jun Huaxian finally opened his mouth. His Adam's apple rolled lightly. The soup slowly went down his throat, when Ling Yan paid no heed to her tightly clenched fists gripping the bedsheet. Finally, the bowl was emptied. Just as Wen Lingyan finished the last mouthful and was about to withdraw, Jun Huaxian suddenly opened his eyes. Their gazes met. Wen Lingyan's heart jolted, her breath caught as she abruptly straightened up. Under the bright lights, those deep, narrow eyes resembled peach blossoms and crimson phoenix. The jet-black pupils deep and dangerous like black obsidian.
Third young master, we're awake.
Starlight seemed to glimmer in Wen Lingyan's brilliant star-like eyes.
Third young master, can't hear me speaking.
Jun Huaxian showed no reaction, greatly alarmed. Wen Lingyan hurriedly rose and went downstairs.
Manager Luo, the third young master is awake.
Hearing this, Luo Pingchuan immediately went upstairs. The two arrived before the bridal bed. The person on the bed had his eyes tightly shut, long lashes casting shadows as if simply asleep.
This is impossible. Just now, he clearly opened his eyes.
Madam, the doctor said vegetative patients opening their eyes is unconscious behavior, not awakening. Moreover, this is not the first time the third young master has opened his eyes.
I see.
Madam, regardless, this at least proves the third young master does not reject you. From now on, spend more time talking to him.
Wen Lingyan's heart skipped a beat. Not rejecting was not equivalent to acceptance. Rumor had it the Jun family's third young master was cold and heartless, avoiding intimacy if he was mentally sound. Her earlier actions may have provoked his ire. After Luo Pingchuan left, she settled back down by the bedside. Unconsciously, her gaze fell upon Jun Huaxian's chiseled lips. The crisp, full M-shaped lips gave an intense sense of asceticism. Perhaps from the medicine, his lip color was no longer as pallid. When Lingyan's mind drifted, recalling another equally handsome face, a piercing ache spread through her heart, dense and pervasive.
If not for that accident, Jing Hao and I would not have been torn apart. I also would not have married the third young master.
Jing Hao, her former husband, 4 years ago, their wedding night, died in an accident. Her lingering thoughts scattered like smoke, a pen in the corner of her eyes. Watching the peacefully sleeping Jun Huaxian, thinking he might also meet an untimely demise like Jing Hao. Her lips curved slightly, her starry eyes glazed with a layer of desolate clarity.
Third young master, fate has been so unfair to us. I cannot resign myself, and surely neither can you. Third young master, do not give up until the very last moment. I believe you will wake up. Third young master, by marrying you, I become your wife. I'll do my utmost to help you regain everything.
Her drifting thoughts blurred with Lingyan's vision. The person lying on the bed, his eyelids twitched slightly. When Lingyan freshened up, changed into a silk nightgown and settled but a headboard. Her downcast gaze fell on the unsightly scar on Jun Huaxian's neck, truly marring his magnificent looks. She leaned closer to examine it carefully. The scar tissue was quite thick and severely damaged. However, it was not completely without hope for repair. With the Jun family's wealth and power, the top experts in Cloud Nation could be engaged. There was no reason it couldn't be treated.
Third young master, perhaps I can help you.
Creak! The bedroom door was suddenly pushed open. A light young man sauntered in, giving Wen Lingyan a depraved grin upon seeing her.
主任了。
Wen Lingyan's heart skipped, a cold sneer flickering through her eyes in a blink. Manager Luo's information was indeed true. Certain people in the Jun family not only wanted to seize Jun Huaxian's wealth and power, but shamelessly humiliate and harm him as well. Defile his newlywed wife right before the third young master's eyes. What could be more insulting than this, if this matter was exposed? The formerly lofty third young master of the Jun family would become the laughingstock of all Cloud Nation. She, a woman disgracing the Jun family, need not wait for ritual suicide to enter the underworld.